This is Tuesday, May 20th. There are 64 days until San Diego Comic-Con 2025. Welcome to SDConCast, the official podcast of the San Diego Comic-Con unofficial blog.
I love the color scheme. It's pink and purple. It looks dreamy.
First time fail. Hello, everybody. I'm your host, James Riley. And joining me on the podcast, as always, Carrie Dixon.
Hey, guys. Thanks so much for joining us.
Also joining us from the blog, Andy Wagner.
Hey, everybody.
And we have a wide group of special guests tonight. We are going to be joined by the marketing director of Adult Swim, Patty Everett, the creative director of Adult Swim, Brandon Lively, and president of GDX Studios, the agency behind Adult Swim Festival on the Green, Seth Bardacke. And then joining us later will be artist and creator of the comic Mystery Babylon, Val Hochberg. All right. Welcome, everyone, to SDConCast.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Hi.
Hello.
Okay, so we're going to take questions and comments during the show. You can tweet us at SD_comic_con or use the hashtag SDConCast. We'll also be keeping an eye on the live chat for YouTube, and if you wish to comment there. But we're going to talk to our guests first. And Carrie, are you going to kick it off, or am I?
I can kick it off if you
I'll
really
do it,
want.
I'll do it.
All right.
Adult Swim. They have been a staple in the SDCC offsite scene for years now. So let's just start off with, how early do you guys have to start planning each year's experience?
I think we're like always coming up with the ideas like all the time and kind of putting them in the back of our mind. But we probably really get going and narrowing in on it around December, and we're kind of pitching concepts in January. So the year before, we're already kind of going on it, but we're definitely keeping ideas in the back of our head all year. Like, I'm just thinking about stuff, and it also really depends on what shows are falling at that time, because a big part of it is promoting a show and what's going to actually be on the schedule then.
For sure. And you guys have had some wild experiences over the years, and not just even focused around shows, like things like you've had a bucking hot dog, you've had the Pop-Tart experience, just some really fun, crazy things. How do you actually decide, like, yes, this is an idea that makes sense for Comic-Con?
I think it comes from all different places all the time. I think the show ones, we'll dig into the show and pull out little nuggets of things that we think is going to make us laugh and we want to experience and we know fans will love. And then there's the Adult Swim things like the hot dog ride, where it's like, we were going to make it a ride. Like, how do we do that? And then we kind of break it down we're going to do a bowl. And then, like, what's the weirdest, most fun thing we can put on there that no one would expect? And then it ends up being a hot dog. It'll go through 10 iterations of what it could be before we get there. But, we did land on that. That was a great one that we had we still have it, but we've used it a lot. So we put it in storage for now.
I think we actually have a photo of it. Let me pull it up real quick. So, yeah, look at that. That was quite the experience at Comic-Con. Love that.
It's always a crowd favorite, for sure.
Yeah. It was a really good one.
Well, that might answer this question in some ways, but with so many offsites at Comic-Con, literally dozens of them, how do you all make sure that Adult Swim stands out among the rest?
I think we definitely love all of the experiences. We don't get to go to them as much because we're doing our own, but I love that they exist, and I love that there's every little pocket's full with something cool. So when I get to walk around, I get to check them out. I don't know if we're really making stuff that we want to see. So I don't know if we're really comparing ourselves, but we definitely try to stand out by being ourselves. Patty, you probably have something.
Well, I was just going to add, yeah, I think the team has just done a great job through the years, not even just at Comic-Con, of just creating really fun experiences for fans, because we really love to connect with fans. So I think people just know and want to show up, right? I think they've done a lot to kind of like set that expectation, which, we always try to exceed every year. And I feel like our teams do that. But so I think I think people have come to know that they're going to be given a really fun experience. I think it comes from just like what Brandon said. We love our shows and our brand, and we put out what we want to do ourselves. And so I think that naturally fans just kind of gravitate towards that. And we always just want to give everybody a really amazing time.
Well, everybody absolutely loves Adult Swim, and it's always just such a riot to see what you guys come up with each year. So I actually wanted to talk specifically about the Pop-Tarts experience, which I think was genius. Like, I love any kind of activation that has to do with food, but just like from start to finish, I thought that was so fun. So can you just kind of walk us through that one in particular, and like how it started and how it evolved into what it became?
Yeah, so on ones like that, like sometimes we have. Am I echoing? Sorry, I'm trying to turn it down so I don't. But I think on the ones like that, we have sponsors. So like when one sponsor comes in and we have to do something, we still want it to fit in with what we would normally do, and like kind of put it through the Adult Swim lens of like, how do we Adult Swim this and still make it the other brand also, and kind of meet in the middle. And I think that one really was a group effort between everyone and was really awesome. I think my favorite parts was doing the fine dining experience and kind of the juxtaposition of that and Pop-Tarts. And then we not only did we serve it and have waiters come out and like the silver cloches and serve you as in like a really high-end dining restaurant, but we did paintings on the walls that kind of featured the Pop-Tarts and like more like historic oil paintings, and we had sculptures and stuff. So we really loved that one too.
It was like my favorite thing I did at Comic-Con that year. It was just such a Comic-Con specific kind of experience.
Yeah, it really came together. Seth and them always help us build the best stuff once we come up with ideas, and we get them all the art and stuff. So it always kind of is a great melding between the two teams.
I mean, I'll jump in on kind of Brandon underselling some of the details on that Pop-Tarts activation. I mean, he mentioned the oil paintings on the wall, the 3D sculpted Pop-Tart characters. I'll add hand-drawn wallpaper pattern, custom Pop-Tart topiary, the finest. What is the pattern on the ground going to look like? It's just from the kind of a production side, the amount of thought into every single detail, what the matrons are wearing, what they're saying, kind of how the Pop-Tarts are presented. It's just obviously super fun for my team and myself to kind of bring that to life. Just knowing the amount of thought that goes into kind of every single inch of that for the desired response that you just gave, my favorite thing ever. And I mean, I think that's the goal of almost everything there. Everything should be somebody's favorite thing ever.
So on this note, I actually want to talk a little bit about, do you guys, you're obviously very busy at Comic-Con, but do you get to like watch people's reaction? And is that kind of like half the joy for you guys?
Oh, yeah. Like I said, we're there. Basically, we don't have the opportunity to see anything else. We're always just on our footprint. And it is very satisfying, right? It's just like months and months and months of work to be able to just like see the fans' reactions and have them enjoy all the things. And yeah, it's always very rewarding to see that in real time.
Does any particular memory kind of like stand out, like watching somebody react to something?
I definitely have several. I think it's the fun house is one of them. I remember people doing flips out of the fun house and being like, whoa, or just, I always go through the things several times a day to make sure it's going right and to test it and do it with the people, with people not even knowing. the designers who worked on it are in there, right? So it's like, and it's just to make sure it goes right. But to see people experience it is very fulfilling.
I can tell you that every year, kind of before doors open on the first day of the con, I kind of walk the line queue a little bit. Anybody familiar with the Adult Swim activation knows the line that builds kind of in anticipation. And I'm telling you, I see the same people kind of up front every year. Lots of new faces too, but just not even knowing what the experience is going to be, kind of the, annual appointment kind of viewing in person for like this huge group of fans. And I mean, really, Comic-Con is amazing because it's like the biggest collection of fandom, of authentic fandom you are going to see anywhere. And then just like the joy that the event brings so many people, even regardless of what the individual activations are, is just a real pleasure to watch. We all work so hard, kind of Patty and side to ideate everything and figure it out, and the production side to put it all together. Kind of feeling that kind of getting the crew back together with the fans every year is a really special thing.
What about you, Patty? Does anything particular memory stand up to you?
I was Brent, I don't know if this is the same thing, and I was coming from my own personal experience. I guess it was the fun house where you come out of the cat's butt.
Yeah.
When you watch people and when you do it yourself, and I don't know if James and Carrie and Annie, that sounds familiar, and I was like, it's so funny. Like, you just can't, there's just so much joy watching people have to squeeze out at the end of that fun house. I don't know. It brings me joy.
No, I think that's a totally fair answer.
I think that's my daughter's favorite too.
So one thing that I have to ask is, for so many years, every year we were like, Meatwad is like every single year at Comic-Con. We have not seen Meatwad in many years. Is Meatwad officially in retirement?
I don't think he's ever in retirement. He's definitely a symbol of Adult Swim and comes back in all kinds of ways. He's definitely one of the main things, just like a Morty Head or a Rick Head. We still use him on stuff.
Yeah, he comes up in conversation.
Not in retirement, but probably wouldn't rerun the Dome show that was in there. That's probably what you saw. But
yeah, that's really what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Okay.
So another thing that we need to talk about is the year that Festival on the Green technically wasn't there in 2022. There was, however, this on the lawn, a box with a flag, and that was it.
I think
right.
sometimes less is more. I think that year.
As I say, just explain yourselves.
Yeah. Yeah,
I mean, it definitely got us talking. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the thing for this one. I think we were kind of all in on the festival, and we were working on that, and then we were like, let's do something there. And this went through several versions also, and then we kind of landed on this that didn't even have to be manned and just have a flagpole. So it was really just about being ridiculous and then promoting our festival in a fun way.
It was a growth year, right?
I think we were still kind of coming out of
COVID,
hibernation, and we were just like not sure how it would be, and we were also working on a festival that was later that year.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to bring it back to something that Seth had mentioned earlier, which was lines, specifically line management, and how that's always a really huge challenge at SDCC. How do you guys handle the throughput and make sure fans don't wait all day in the burning sun and get sunburned for just like 2 minutes of fun?
I mean, I could speak to kind of overall line queue plans, which are part of Comic-Con. As you know, they shifted the Hall H line a few years ago to head towards the Marriott instead of the Bayfront, which alleviated maybe 10% of the congestion, but it is again, with so many fans in the area, both waiting to get into Hall H, into the convention center, and all of the surrounding activations, it is a collaborative effort with all of the groups and the Comic-Con team to plan in advance to make sure they're kind of designated areas, start and ends to every line. So just before you even get in to the activation, there's a lot of planning that goes into kind of where the lines form, what direction they head in. It's all a very coordinated effort that I think you mentioned on the intro, we're 64 days out, I think you said, from Comic-Con. Planning is very much in the works on all of those line cues. I mean, I could let Brandon and Patty speak more to it, but one of the things on our side that we love so much about this event is it's not designed to be a 2-minute experience. It also is not designed to be the same experience for everybody. It's somewhat of a choose your own adventure situation there, which I know is very consciously planned.
Yeah, I think people, once they wait in the line, they get to spend a lot of time with our shows and the things we build there, and the nighttime events that we do at night. We've actually concepted whole footprints that were just around the line. I don't want to say the idea because we might still do it, but the whole thing was a line, like just playing off of that, and it was still worth it, even though it was a line. So. Yeah,
I mean,
we're always
we joke all the time about LineCon, CouchCon, like we're all for it.
Right. It was around that, but the different.
And I'll tell you, talking to some of those people in the front of the line, the wait is irrelevant. They're there, and it's worth it for them to wait. I think kind of Comic-Con as a whole, it's the kind of the nicest crowd you'll ever deal with standing in lines. It's really not an issue because of kind of the value that people gain, the joy that they get to experience once they get in. And to Brandon's point, there's no, you must leave after you finish. And to kind of extend the hours past the required activation hours to provide those nighttime experiences, kind of after a lot of the other activations that shut down, has always been something that Adult Swim team really believes in.
I think we always try to reward the first so many people in the line too with a gift. We've done that a few times. This year it's going to be a really incredible gifts. So get in line first.
All right, so Adult Swim's going to have the swag. Got it.
So you've also included, as you mentioned, the nighttime stuff. You have live concerts, you have meet and greets. In fact, you have last year's Battle of the Booty. And so over the years, you've added these different elements. And why are these kind of things important? And what do you think they add to the overall experience?
Yeah, I mean, Brandon mentioned, obviously for us, this space is a great way for us to just bring our shows to life, right? And we always look at the calendar, and part of it is wanting to make sure we're elevating the show, right? The show launches that we're working on in this year, but then, it also isn't just its shows. There's also weaving through the fabric of our brand. There's music and comedy and art. So we always want to make sure that there are those things that we're bringing to the experience as well. And so for Battle of the Booty, that was, I think, internally, that was a favorite. That honestly just came about internal conversations at the company. AEW was wanting to have a presence there, and they knew that we always did something at San Diego Comic-Con. And so we just started having conversations around what could that look like? And yeah, let's bring a wrestling match to the footprint. And it was probably one of our most popular nights that year. So a lot of those conversations come organically, and, we just try to find different things to bring to the fans at night that are a little different than what they can find. We also have panels there, but we want to just kind of elevate kind of a nighttime, very casual experience for fans as well as a compliment.
That was the first time I had seen a live wrestling show. They brought so much to it. It was pretty incredible. And they did so well with the characters and the costumes.
It was a lot of planning. We got look behind the curtains for how they basically plan a typical match It was really
How
impressive.
fun.
Yeah, they brought a lot of humor to it that we weren't even expecting, like the actual wrestlers.
That's cool.
Well, we have a lot of wrestling fans on the blog too.
It was really great.
So let's pivot a little bit, and I'm going to use one of the 25-cent words or terms that Carrie has proudly given me here. What trends are you guys seeing in experiential marketing, and how do you think that they'll influence the future of SDCC offsites?
I mean, I feel like now there's a lot of, it's like tech stuff, right? It's a lot of immersive kind of storytelling. Obviously now with like AI and brands finding ways to kind of weave that into the experiences. And I will say, and I don't know, Brandon, I feel like sometimes we tend to then push away from trends like that, right? And I think we talk a lot about how can we maybe go a little more analog, or I think for us is like, how can we bring something unexpected to fans? Because that's, I think, right? So sometimes we'll lean in if there's a cool idea. I think it always really just starts with an idea. And, if it's something that's happening right now as a trend, and if it works for something we want to do, then we'll lean in. And if it's not, I think I don't think we're beholden to what the trends are necessarily. I think if it helps us feel like we can bring something kind of authentic and organic to our fans, then we'll explore it. I don't know, Brandon, if you have anything to add to that.
Yeah, no, I think you said it. I think we'll do the thing if we can do our own spin on it and make it funny, or like lean into it where people will get that we're doing our thing to it, right? It's trying to think of an example, but we don't always follow trends. I don't think we do. We kind of do our own thing, but I think we've talked about doing a drone show, right? You see a lot of drone shows now, but I know that we could do our own thing on that, right? I know there was an incredible Marvel one last year, and so we've talked about it, not necessarily at Comic-Con, but we've had ideas around that, right? I see a lot of those now, and they're everywhere. But we might do that sometime one day. We did it for Blade Runner, Black Lotus when that came out, and filmed that. So that was fun to do. So we might do it in the future, but I think we do it when it makes sense, I guess, is the short answer.
Which I think is the way to do it for sure. Like, best idea wins, like whether that's something new with technology or whether that's a bucking hot dog, So on that note, I just kind of want to talk about what do offsites offer that you can't replicate through something else? Like what do you think offsites give to fans that something like a panel doesn't necessarily give them?
I feel like experiential and offsites give it that kind of magic that you always felt as a kid of like carnivals or fairs, or like you didn't really expect that kind of thing, and it's tangible, right? You can go do it or be in it or see it. I think panels and the inside of the con is also great, but I think it just makes it feel really big. And I love that at Comic-Con every space is filled, so everywhere you go there is something cool and interesting to see. I don't get to go in a lot because I can't wait in the lines, but I like seeing people doing their thing.
Yeah, I think it brings element of play, right? To Brandon's point, there's that tangible aspect of it that you can't have with the panel, but I think it's just like bringing that play through, and really, I think being able to connect with our fans face to face and kind of seeing them enjoy the space. I think it's just a nice added bonus.
I think space in general is one of the answers to that too. I mean, Adult Swim had a booth on the show floor for a lot of years, but then you just get a little bit more limited to one activity, where outside we have so much more room and can kind of bring a lot of different things to people. So kind of everyone can have their favorite.
Absolutely. Well, we're fans of panels, but we are also huge fans of offsites. And I just think offsites allow you to kind of like enter the worlds in a way that nothing else does. So we, again, absolutely love what you guys do.
Thank you.
You kind of answered this in the previous question about analog, digital, and technology. But when you're competing with all of the other flashy offsites, the the panels, the show floor. There's, like you said, it's packed. There's so many things to do. How do you get attendees to notice you and choose it?
I mean, I think we have the benefit of some history in terms of just our space. So we've been there for a minute. It's a big size space, I would say. So I think people know where to find us. I think we're not kind of entering as a new brand, trying to find and carve out a new space, and it's pretty prominent. So I think we have that to our advantage. But again, I think for people who know us, I think we also bring we've brought some of the experiences to fans. So I think so fans kind of know what to expect. And I think also there's so much at Comic-Con in the best way. So I feel like there's always something for somebody, and to be able to spread that love and joy around and be able to have people come. I don't know. It's a lot to choose from, but I feel like we always kind of find our people. Our people find us that want to come and hang out for the weekend.
And sometimes all you need is a pink box with a flag on it.
That's right.
Yep.
Or a bucking hot dog.
Although, speaking of the bucking hot dog, do you have one favorite activation or activity that you guys just look back on and always makes the team smile? Like, what's your favorite from all time?
There's so many. It's like picking your favorite child. But I think man, I could sit here and name them. But if I have to pick one, it's the Funhouse. And that's like picking 16 different ones. But it was a 54-foot tall castle that had 16 rooms inside and all kind of hidden chambers and ways out. And then there was 3 exits that spit you out into 3 different scenarios. So I think that thing was the best at Comic-Con. We also toured it after, which probably wasn't the smartest idea because but it was a lot to move around. But it was a lot of people got to experience it. It only held up for so long. The inflatable taking it out on the road.
Nothing would ever beat the Funhouse, but I will tell you from a kind of surprise production perspective, the canoe cart races that we built were pretty popular.
We still have those in the office. Love them.
Patty, what about you?
I'm trying to think of something that we haven't said. Okay, I'll pick something from last year, just selfishly, because I was just a big fan. So for one of our new shows, Common Side Effects, the team, and speaking of kind of guests leaning into technology, the team created this immersive room where you just get to experience kind of environmentally some aspects of the show. It's a beautifully animated show. And it was, so we just wanted to showcase that. And I think it was, it's elegantly simple and it was just really beautiful. And the team did a great job bringing that to life. So I really thought that was really, really nice.
That was a fun one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we get to my last question, we have a handful of reader questions, if you guys are okay with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
The Awesome American asked, what would be a dream guest to come on the green? I really enjoyed Ginger Root performing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. What was it?
What would be a dream guest to perform on the green? And Chad said, I really enjoyed Ginger Root performing.
Oh, yeah, that was really good. I don't know. Dream guest for Comic-Con. Just think about that one.
It's okay. That's okay.
We'll come back. That's hard.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's hard. I'm trying
All
to
right. So, I mean, kind of answered this, but Jedi Master asked, was there a favorite year that you guys have done? My personal favorite was the Adult Swim State Park from 2018 with the drivable carts.
That's Seth's also.
Poster behind me. Archery range, drivable carts. We had a trumpet, a bugle player doing the call at the start of every day. That was a unique one for sure.
Yeah, we had a chainsaw artist carving a plumbus out of a giant log, an actual chainsaw. We've got that out front of William Street in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
It's still out there in the garden.
Let's actually talk about the artwork for the posters and just the event in general, because I always think that it's so fun. Can you just talk a little bit about how those come together every year?
Yeah, it really moves around the group, but so many different artists and designers that have been in our group have designed those, so people take them on. A lot of the Comic-Con ones are done in-house. Like, occasionally we'll hire an illustrator that we really love for their style, but most of the time it's actually a person that's working on it, doing the illustration or the design for those individual posters and everything, all the branding around it. So we not only do all of the artwork, but we concept the whole thing. So yeah, the internal team at Adult Swim.
Love that. Well, before we have you guys go, is there anything that you can tease about this year's event? And it's okay if the answer is no.
We can. This year, cats are going to take over the whole thing, and it's going to be perfect.
Okay.
We pitched it, and the pitch deck was puns, cat puns throughout the whole thing.
And they already said they're going to have great swag, so.
Yeah, there is. It's actually some of the coolest things we've given out.
And the art is beautiful. It always is, but this art, speaking of the art every year, it's fantastic.
Yeah, cats are a symbol of Adult Swim also, along with owls, and so we go back and forth. So this year, we're going to have cats take over.
Okay, all right. We are very excited to see that. So before we have you guys hop off, do you want to just talk a little bit about where everyone can find Adult Swim and GDX online?
Sure, yeah. I mean, obviously, adultswim.com. If you want to catch up on our shows, we're on Max.
HBO Max, Patty.
Not yet.
Yet.
Okay, going back and forth. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, GDXstudios.com as well, our Instagram page. But I mean, again, the Adult Swim team stars of the show. We just are so privileged to have this long-term partnership, getting to bring all of these amazing ideas to life as a local San Diego-based agency. While we work all over the country, it is just like such a pleasure and a privilege to be able to kind of bring this one to life in our local community.
Yeah, we truly couldn't do this without Seth and GDX. Like they really go above and beyond the whole time to get our every detail of our insane ideas made and engineered and safe, and make them safe after we try to make them like too big or too tall.
I feel like Seth's always holding his breath every year when we're going to bring like the pitch and the concept deck. And then he's always like, okay, we can do that. We can make it happen.
Excited and scared.
The concept deck delivery day is like Christmas morning for our agency. We look forward to it kind of every year, and then work with feasibility guardrails to make sure it is in fact safe.
Well, we cannot wait to see what you guys have planned for this year. So we will see you guys at Comic-Con and see you litter, I guess, since it's all cats this year. So.
Very well done, Terry. Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you
All
so
right.
much.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Bye.
And now we have our next guest.
Next guest.
Next
Your
guest.
guest.
Next guest?
More guests. It is
Hi.
Val Hochberg.
Hi.
Hi,
I'm
Val.
so excited. Hi.
We are excited to have you. I know. I've been wanting to ask you for like literally years. So it's finally happening this week. So let's get into it. So for anybody who doesn't know, why don't you just talk a little bit about your history, kind of like with the con and what it is that you do?
So I'm an artist. I do self-publishing. So I have my own comic book series called Mystery Babylon. And I've been going to this show since 2005. So 2005, I graduated college Like that summer, went to Comic-Con just for fun, and I think that's the only year I ever just went for fun. And after that, I always had at least sharing a booth or my own booth. I'm actually going on my 10-year anniversary of my small press booth. So, wow, that's how time flies. So, yeah, so I like to draw things.
Well, you draw them very well. So, do you actually remember like your first Comic-Con? What was that like?
So it was kind of scary because I went out there, like I made friends online on the internet. So I kind of like met my internet friends I had never met in real life before. And I just remember having an absolute blast. And I kind of just decided, like, should I go? Should I not go? And back then, it wasn't as crazy to get like tickets. So like I could kind of decide like, oh yeah, I think that was like one of the final years you could just walk up and just buy a ticket and just like walk in the show. I think that's one of the final years you could do that. So yeah, it was amazing. It was really crowded, even though, but and then I have gone every year that it's been open since. So yeah, it was special.
It's so addicting. Yeah, I know. Like after my first year, it was just like, oh, this is where I will be every year in July now. This is where you will find me.
It's probably my favorite show too. Just like walk around, just listening. I was just listening to the Adult Swim stuff, and I'm like, oh yeah, like I did ever see that. I wish I had. There have been some.
You should have seen it. It's like kind of across from the pirate ship. So
I don't get to go and like go and do it.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, dang it. There's so many things. I'm like, oh, I wish I could have seen that. But yeah, I still like being there. Oh, I can't hear you. Andy, you're muted. Are you muted?
Andy, we don't hear you.
Sign language. Oh no.
Oh no.
Hold up a post-it note.
Click on settings and make sure that like it's set to your mic.
All right. So can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Now we can.
Aye. All right. So let's try this again. So, all right. Getting ready for the con. What is prep like for you? How early do you start planning, and how soon do you start working on your minis?
Oh my gosh. So I never have enough time ever. I've already started planning out basically with January. I think I was planning out my whole year, my whole schedule for what I needed. So usually what we'll do is I think like, okay, what new things I want to have in terms of like books, prints, keychains, stickers, and I kind of plan those out and I do those first because those go into production. So I'm like, okay, I'm sending off my stickers. My husband helps me make my sticker sheets. So I'll make a new sticker sheet. I'll be like, okay, now go make them now. So I do all that stuff first. And then I also do commissions. So usually after one show ends, I'll open up commissions for the next show. And so it's always like a balancing act of like, how can I do enough commissions for everyone and still have time to draw art for the bins? Because I have these like little bins where I have art where people can flip through. So right now I'm prepping for Phoenix Fan Fusion. So I'm currently working through my commission list for that. But basically it's like my goal is like, I need to draw as many arts as humanly possible because I can't have too many. So I'm already kind of prepping for San Diego now, even though I have shows before then. San Diego is the big one. It's the big one. So.
And you did sell out last year. You did.
Thanks to you, Carrie. Carrie bought like my last like 3 arts.
I know. I went to a bit on Sunday. I was like, how many do you have left? I'm buying them.
So yeah. So the art has begun. So
yes. Well, last year you, I think, had way more of a line than I think you'd ever had before. I think you were maybe not even expecting that. So what was that like from your experience, and like what sort of lessons do you feel like you learned like for moving forward?
So
Now that you're a big artist,
yeah.
Val.
I actually warned I set up the day of the show. So like I'll show up Wednesday, and before the show starts, I remembered I kind of warned my booth neighbors. I'm like, hey, just a heads up. Sometimes like the first bit, like it might get a little crazy, but then it's gonna go away. So don't so just to give you a heads up. And then I was not expecting the line that I had. So yeah, my husband had like a panic attack. So my neighbors got kind of cranky at me because I wasn't prepared. Like, so, before Adult Swim talking about line management, like, oh, you got to play this ahead of time. I was not prepared. So I think at some point we did manage to get some volunteer help. My best friend Anna kind of helped manage the line and bringing people one by one up. So this year I need to reach out to volunteer services ahead of time, just in case.
The little person with the line.
Yeah, the line. They can line up by peanuts. I don't know where they'll do it, but yeah, usually it's only the first preview night and Thursday usually are bonkers. And then as I sell out of all the art I've drawn, it doesn't get as bonkers anymore. But I did apply to potentially move to a non-small press booth, but right now I'm still in small press. It's a long waiting list, I'm sure. So who knows? And I have mixed feelings about it because I feel like I don't know if it was a fluke, like the busyness that I had. So I don't want to be like, oh, it's just every year now. No, they might have just been last year, but I think it'd be good to get a normal table, but I'll be sad because my small press table has been my house for like 5 years where I live.
They need to just put you on a corner is what
Yeah.
you really need.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Put her on the opposite side from Patrick Ballesteros. That way both lines don't meet.
Oh my God. Artist Alley's already like crazy. Imagine that.
Well, I do not think that it was a fluke, but I'm excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah. It'll be exciting. Yeah, I have some photos because my table is by like those giant windows, like by the elevators. So you could just like look down and like see the chaos. So.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite photos to get. Just go up to the mezzanine and just start taking pictures of the chaos. Now, I wanted to talk about your specific style of art because it is so distinct. It's bright, expressive, and let's be honest, it's irresistibly cute. I love your stuff.
Oh, thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
With your chibi look, I love that. Now, my question is, how did you develop that style and what draws you to it as a storyteller?
I guess I just love cute things. And I think I just kind of, over time, like, I feel like my style's kind of inconsistent because I don't have like, oh, I always draw eyes this one way or anything like that. But like, I think I kind of like borrowed from like 100 things that I liked, especially growing up. Like, I love like Pokemon comics, like the mangas. I had like, I had Slayers comics, Dragon Ball Z. So I feel like a lot of my stuff is just a lot of these things like mushed together and like how I'm feeling that day. My husband goes crazy because I'll be drawing something, I'll be like, it's not cute enough, and I'll like start over. I'll like draw, but I have a pile of art that's just like garbage. I'm like, I could do it cuter. So
Scott is like the official keeper of the cute meter. Like this does not meet my standards.
No, he's like, it's cute enough. No one cares. You're the only one who cares. And I'm like, no, it could be better. And he's like, please draw something else. You've been drawing this picture the last 8 times. You need to stop. You have a problem.
I feel like you have this adorable pile of discarded cuteness somewhere in your house.
Here's one that I just have here. This is I was trying to draw Good Omens art. I don't know if you can see it. There's a commission. I'm like, no, it could be cuter. It's not good enough. So yeah, I just have stacks of them. So yeah. Artist problems. Yeah.
So speaking of commissions, I love that you offer commissions, especially when you draw as many minis as you do. You do like so many every year. Do you have favorites that you've done over the years?
Oh gosh, it's hard. I do have like I try to, if I remember, to take pictures of all of them now because I used to not do that. And now I try to just like take a photo of them so I remember, and I'll use some of them for promos for like the next time I do commissions. favorite ones. It's hard to pick them because sometimes I like to draw things that I like to draw. So if like someone asks you to draw something like Good Omens, like, oh, I like that. So I get excited. I do like drawing pets. I've drawn lots more pet commissions now than in past, and I don't complain about it. I think that's I really like to draw pets. So yeah, anything Star Wars. That's like my main fandom. So if someone asks me for a Star Wars something, I go yes. So
I'm very aware that is your main fandom.
Yeah.
What about Star Trek though?
Star Trek's okay.
Okay. All right. As long as you don't go in.
Thank you for the honesty.
Hey, if
No,
she
I've
said
never
Star
watched.
Trek, I would have respected it.
I've never watched actually. I want to say Below Deck, but that's a boat show.
Lower Decks.
Lower Deck. Okay. I've never seen it, but I've drawn Moopsie before, and I really enjoy Moopsie just from that commission I drew. So, so I should probably watch it just for Moopsie.
Well, I want to stay on commissions for just a second because we were actually having this conversation internally earlier. What if you were to give someone tips for like when they're requesting commission and like what kind of information to tell you? Like, what would you tell someone to send?
To send like to me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Like if they're
yeah.
requesting a commission,
Oh,
like what is
really?
helpful versus what is not.
Oh, that is a great one. So for me, it definitely helps me if it's a character I don't know, especially to send me both like a close-up shot of their face so I can see their eye color and then also the full body. Because a lot of times I'll get a commission, like they're like, I want this character, and it's just kind of like heads and shoulders, and I go, oh man, and then I gotta go. And then I go on Google. I'm like, who is this? Costumes. Yeah. So I kind of spend more time doing research. So also I love it when people have like an idea of if there's two characters, even one character, like the vibe, the overall vibe they're going for. Because sometimes I'll have two characters. I'm like, oh, do you want this to be like shippy? Because that's what my mind goes to. And they're like, no. And I'm like, oh, okay. See, I'm really glad I asked, or else you were gonna get an art of like them holding hands or something. And you're gonna be like, what is this? So like, yeah, if there's any kind of vibe, so whether they're like, I want them to be like buddies or like their rivals or whatever kind of like overall personality kind of things they're going for. I would love to get those kinds of notes. I even have people be like, I want this specific pose. I actually have one in my waiting list now where it's like Rogue and Gambit, and they want the pose. So there's like this Capcom versus SNK game, and I guess Rogue does some move where she like smooches, smooches Gambit. They're like, I want that, and I'm like, you got it, no problem. So.
Okay, all right. Well, I think that's all great information because I think a lot of people struggle with like what to send, and like they don't want to send too much or like too little. So
yeah, no, it's something. Sometimes people are just like, go crazy, whatever you want. Sometimes people are like, here's 4 ideas, pick your favorite, and I love those too. Because sometimes I'm like, absolutely, I'll pick this one out of this. So there's like, surprise me. I go, sweet. It makes it look.
I also just want to tell you, you will enjoy this. That Sarah Hovland in the chat said, "Oh my God, my dog's name is Kylo Ren. I'm totally going to get a commission if I can."
Yes.
You can.
Pets and Star Wars put together is perfect. So winner.
All right, I'm releasing myself from microphone jail and hope it doesn't echo too much here. So let's talk about your comic, Mystery Babylon.
Yes.
For those who may be new to it, how would you describe the series and what inspired you to create it?
So it's actually a bit like darker than like my normal commission art. Like here, I actually have, this is what they look like. So my goal is to do like a chapter a year. So these are kind of like collections of them. So it is still like anime style, but it's a bit like, it's not chibi. It's about like, I'm terrible at pitching it. It's like demons and angels. It's like Good Omens, but like angsty anime. I don't know how to describe it. Like
angsty anime. I think that's great.
Yeah. It's about like the last demon, like it's a post-apocalyptic, like society's rebuilt. There's like no technology. There's like robes. people remember history wrong. So there were superheroes and now they're like remembered as gods. It's all very, it's like way more, it's like Kingdom Hearts. It's like way more complicated than it needs to be. But it's kind of about like trying to stop this second apocalypse from happening. And the hero, Kick Girl, she's just really bad at being a hero. She just sucks. So it doesn't go very good. So just lots of emotions, I guess.
Sounds like a Gen X dystopian.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
So people come over my booth and like they expect like the cute, like the cute Stitch drawing, and then like, what's this? And I'm like, okay, this is something different. So yeah.
So how has Mystery Babylon evolved over the years, both in the story and in that style that you're talking about, the angsty anime?
Yeah, it definitely has evolved. So I started it, I think the first chapter came out like 2010. So like it's kind of fun because I look back through it and I see how my art's improved. I've definitely gotten faster since I started, and I've learned to plan out my stories better. Because when I first started, I'm like, and we're just going with the flow, and I didn't have any care for like page count or anything like that. And then I kind of realized with time, like, oh, I need to plan out. Like if I want to have a book printed, I probably shouldn't try to have 200 pages a year. 48 pages sounds good. Let me do that. So I've definitely learned like planning, and now I've got the whole story mapped out. At least like I have like a, what's it called? A lucid board. It's like Post-it notes. It's like digital Post-it notes where I have the whole thing kind of like all planned out to the end now. Now the problem is just finding time to work on it. That's the real struggle, because I've just been Comic-Con prep basically, like I said, since January. So what haven't I done? Comic art.
So you do have an end in sight? I mean, again, you started this 15 years ago.
Yeah. My husband's like, end it. Just end it. I'm like, not, I have to end it right. So I think I have like 5 or 6 chapters left. So that's still like 5 or 6 years of my life, assuming I keep up with my comic book schedule, which is really bad right now. But yeah, so there is an end. I don't want to just like not have an ending to it. I think that'd be really sad to spend so many years working on it.
I didn't realize you'd been working on it for that long. I love that. It's crazy.
Labor of love.
So why don't you tell people where they can find Mystery Babylon?
So you can read it at kick-girl.com. That's like my webcomic site. You can also read it on Webtoons, although Webtoons isn't as updated as the actual site. And you can find it on Amazon too, or my store on my site. So yeah. So read it. It's all online. It's all online for free. So you can just read it there.
Absolutely. So I want to talk a little bit, shift gears here, about last year's party. So the U-Blog, for anybody who's unaware, we do a party almost every year, but last year, basically, I really wanted to throw an Eris-themed party. Nobody else originally was on board, but I asked Val to do a couple pieces of artwork, and this saved the day. So this turned my cohorts around, and they were like, okay, no, we're in on a Gary themed Eris party. So thank you, Val, for that.
My pleasure.
Do you want to just talk a little bit about the process of making these and what this was like from your side of things?
Yeah, I'm a huge Gary stan. Number 1, maybe number 2. I think I have some competition for number 1 Gary fan. But I want to say it pretty high up there. And this is your first idea, and then you had kind of switched gears. I don't know if you want me to spoil it, because I don't think it's.
No, you can.
In the bin. Okay, so
we did like cake like the first idea last year.
It's like a camping theme.
There.
It's like you're like, actually, let's not do that. Let's just do a camping theme. I'm like, all right. So you kind of had an idea. I'd already kind of sketched out some of these Garys, and I was like, well, just for fun. I still did it for fun. I know we're switching gears, but here it is. And I was already working on the camping one, and you're like, "Whoa, hold up, we're doing it. we're going Taylor Gary." I was like, "Yeah." So yeah, and I just love drawing Gary. So a lot of times, in past, it's like, hey Val, can you draw Gary doing this? And I go, yeah, and then I draw like 8 other Garys because I just like drawing.
You drew so many last year, and I am so appreciative of that. I really hope it wasn't too chaotic for you, because I do feel like we kept being like, hey, can we have one more? But
I feel like she enjoyed it.
Yes, and you got to meet Gary last year at the party.
I did, yeah. That was like my #1 celebrity that got to meet Gary.
Love it.
Yeah.
So let's talk.
This, but
I did not, but it's amazing. So let's talk about this one. So you just like randomly sent me this the other week. Talk a little bit about this.
Like, because we were talking about new arts, and this was kind of like popped into my head, just like, and then I just had to draw it. I don't know. It just get in my head. I'm like, I have to do it, and I think it's funny. So I like sometimes I'm like, even if you guys get it, and you're like, what is this? So like,
no, he's Leo. He's Leo. Come on.
Oh, we knew. Of course.
We knew.
Okay,
God. Oh God.
I think someone said Gatsby, and this came up. That was that one word.
Yes.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
That's basically it. So I also wanted to show off. We made these shirts and basically only gave them to like 4 people on our team and Val, but Val has one. So for anybody who did not see, we made the Tortured Attendees Department shirts last year for a few of us from Val's awesome design. So thank you again very much for that, Val.
Of course.
So we can't say too much about this year's blog party theme, but what has that been like working on that again for you?
You're gonna spoil me because I'm gonna want to do it every year. anytime.
I got news for you, Val. You can do it.
Yeah.
We're not gonna stop you.
And I don't think we're going anywhere anytime soon. So
okay, good.
No.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm very excited. Sometimes it's hard because like I draw these things, I get excited about it. It's like, no, don't. Secret. So,
like, we will be revealing some stuff about our party here soon enough for those of you in the know. So, yep, that's what I've got for you. All right. Do we have any reader questions, James? There's your mascot.
Maybe. I mean, we have one we can't ask her about. Apparently, Osiris68 says, "Don't ask her about her Reven fanfic."
Don't. That's my husband. Just ignore him. He knows nothing. There's no such thing. I don't know what he's talking about.
Yes. Well, we have lots of people in the chat very excited that you were doing the artwork again. So
yes, good. Okay, yes.
It's good, you guys. You're gonna like it. It's really good. So before we have you hop off, Val, why don't you just talk a little bit again about where people can find you online?
You can find me on Twitter, or I guess it's X, but it's Twitter.
Twitter.
It's always
Twitter.
It's Twitter.
You can find me at KickGirl on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky. And yeah, those are the best places to find me. So, yeah.
And you will be opening commissions sometime in June, correct?
Yes, basically as soon as I think Phoenix Fan Fusion is like the first weekend of June. So expect an announcement either right before that or right after that. I'm thinking I usually give like a week's heads up, but I might do 2 weeks this time. So everyone, I always want people like, sometimes it gets crazy. It stresses me out. But yeah, so at least a week's heads up before I open commissions. And so yep, keep your eyes peeled. So looking forward to draw cute stuff.
Well, we do have one quick question. Damien asked, does Val have a favorite Gary era?
Oh, I don't know. I can't just pick one Gary.
Did you have a favorite one to draw?
You know, I guess I can't do spoilers. So there's the recent Gary I've drawn.
Okay.
I think he looks pretty cool.
I think he does too. I think he looks really cool.
That one kind of stands out in my mind right now. So
I like
look
that.
forward to.
I actually have a follow-up question. Are you even a Taylor Swift fan? We made you know.
I'm just kidding. I like the songs. Like I'm not like
you're not a
mega fan, but I enjoy her music. So I will say I'm not like a diehard. I'm a casual fan, but it doesn't matter.
That is okay. At least you weren't like, God, I hate Taylor Swift, but I drew like all these things for you. So okay. All right. Well, I think that about does it. We cannot wait to see you at Comic-Con this year, whether that be in small press or if you manage to get your own bigger space. But we will definitely be seeing you there, Val.
Yay, I can't wait. Thank you guys so much for having me. Oh, Moxie says hello as well.
Hi.
Absolutely. Bye, Val.
Bye, friends. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Well, that was fun.
Hopefully the echo's gone. We'll find out.
We'll find out. Yeah.
That was weird.
I don't think you believe me, but I'm telling you, when I muted you, it stopped.
I believe that. I mean, just random things can happen, you know.
And I'm still trying to get used to these new audio settings, so I don't know what's what anymore.
Yeah, it's all different. Okay. Real quick answer a question in the chat. Joku asks, can you get in line for Hall H for Thursday if you don't have preview night? Yes, you can.
Yes. Also, all you have to have is your Thursday badge or your barcode. We have like a really comprehensive Hall H guide that we've put together for this year. I have not posted it yet because I feel like we're too far out. But if you guys are like, yeah, I want to learn more about Hall H, like right now, like we can totally post that now. So if you have an opinion on that, let me know.
It's random question Tuesday. Jedi Master Nico asked James, who is your favorite Muppet? It is not Kermit, actually. It is Fozzie.
Okay. All right. I don't feel like that is a typical answer. I like that.
The horrible jokes are just awesome. I love the bad jokes.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's because you are Fozzie. you love a good pun. You love a good bad joke.
All right. It's time for news.
Time for
Right?
news.
Time for news. All right.
All right. So to kick us off, last week we did the movies that we think might be or might not be a Comic-Con. Yesterday we did the cable and streaming networks. So if you love TV, it's super long, but I think it's worth the read, and not just because I spent an awful long time doing it. So if you are curious about what we think might be a Comic-Con this year, definitely take a read through that. And we'll have broadcast TV up tomorrow. And there's not much on it, guys. Spoiler.
Well, fine. I won't read it then. No, seriously, read it, people. We love it when you read it. Sorry, James.
Go ahead.
Awesome. All right. So UC San Diego is now offering affordable lodging for college students, which is awesome. If you're a student in California heading to Comic-Con, you still need accommodations. They've got stuff for you. Looks like 4 nights for just $700 a person. But that seems a bit steep. But for last minute,
I think it's $700 for the full thing.
For the 4 nights, yeah.
Yes, and you
Which
get
honestly is not
breakfast. No, yeah, $700 for 4 nights plus breakfast. I don't think is.
Yeah, and
you can do a lot worse.
Yeah, you're like you said, they just got breakfast. You're right next to the Blue Line, which one runs straight to the convention center. So yeah, it's a really good deal. So for students in the California college system, that is UC, Cal State University, and community colleges, any of the UC alumni or UC San Diego affiliates, members of accredited private or nonprofit universities.
Absolutely.
All right. Next up, we have something that actually is pretty cool. Win a San Diego Comic-Con experience and party access with actor David Desmalkian. Now, he's from Suicide Squad, Dune, so many other things. But you can win. You can invite yourself and a friend to join him in if you win this charity auction supporting the Children's Mercy Hospital. The link is up on our site. The winning bidder will receive 2 passes to San Diego Comic-Con, a ticket to David's Z2 Fandom Birthday Bash on Thursday, July 24th, a chance to tag along with David at Comic-Con on Friday, July 25th through Saturday the 26th, including access to one of his official panels. And we think that the Z2 Fandom Birthday Bash is possibly the fandom party.
I mean, it's Thursday night. It says fandom in the title. Z2 is been a sponsor. I mean, that surely just means the fandom party.
You'll also get a comic book of David's and a movie merch gift bag. Travel and accommodations are not included, and the bidding currently starts at $500. So again, link is up on the site if you are interested, because you're going to get a couple tickets to Comic-Con and get to hang out with David. So why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Yeah.
So let's move on to offsites, and we only have one, but this is a fun one. So the Comic Book Couples Counseling Podcast is hitting the road, and they are going to several stops cross country, starting in Winchester, Virginia, and then they will finish up their tour in sunny San Diego on Tuesday, July 22nd, where they will head to one of our favorites, Now or Never Comics, and they will record their podcast live there with special guest Daniel Warren Johnson, who is, kind of a comics superstar. So the live podcast begins at 7 p.m. I think more information will be announced closer too, but if you are in town on Tuesday, this sounds like a really fun way to spend it.
All right, and are we ready for exclusives?
I think so, yes.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Who's up first?
What do you want, Andy? You want this or the other?
I'll take Hallmark. Sure, why not? So first up, we have Hallmark San Diego Comic-Con 2025 exclusives. They have some really good stuff this year that personally I'm interested in. So let's see here. You are showing right now. You know what, James? I want you to take this one since you're the Star Wars guy. You know more about this person than me.
Darth Nihilus.
Darth Nihilus.
The Sith Lord. Yes, this one is. Let me get this up here. This is the Knights of the Old Republic. He's $30. And it's from the video game and a bunch of other stuff that is, comics and whatever. This is an event-exclusive ornament, one of only 4,000, and you can get it at Comic-Con, and I think maybe one New York Comic-Con. So yeah, the two cons, so there'll be 2,000 at each, probably, maybe more at one than the other. Who knows? But it's limited, so and this is your chance to get it.
Yes, and we don't have photos yet. But they are doing several other exclusives, and they announced at least what they are. And those include like a Minecraft Nether Portal, Star Wars Jawa vintage figure, the Matrix Trinity, and I think the one that people are most excited about, a Star Trek Picard USS Enterprise NCC 1701G. So,
that's the one you want, Andy.
Yes, that is the one I want.
Yes. So no photos yet of any of the rest of those, but we'll share as soon as they announce them.
All right, next up we have Rebellion and 2000 AD Comics. This is their first announcement for the year. It's a premium Judge Dredd statue based on the artwork of Jock. He's Jock is a very famous comic book cover artist, and this one is almost 20 inches tall, hand-painted, polystone resin, individually numbered. This will be going on sale for pre-orders from the Rebellion shop on June 5th for 400 pounds, or if you're around here, $530, with delivery expected in October. All 2000 AD subscribers will receive an exclusive 25% discount code. The statue will first be debuting at San Diego Comic-Con at the 2000 AD booth. And at the booth, you will be able to also get that 25% pre-order show discount.
Which, when it's $530, is a decent amount. That's $132 off.
So it becomes the pounds in dollars.
Yeah.
It's just like that.
Wow.
Okay, what do we have next?
So up next is Lynn Hallion. So we got to see her lineup of pens this year. She will have a new daily exclusive pen each day at her booth, including Wednesday is going to be Powerline from the Goofy movie. Thursday will be Crypto, the Super Dog. Friday will be Ted Lasso. Saturday will be that Fight the Empire design that we already saw for a sticker. And then Sunday will be Goose. So those are super cute. They're limited to $150 each. I think they will all go pretty quickly. That's really it for exclusive. The only other thing that we really learned this week is that Funko is doing their fan rewards again. They do this every year. This year, it's going to be ever so slightly different. You earn points through their fan rewards program, which is free to sign up for, but you can redeem your points for certain actions, including you can try for front of the line booth access at their main booth for Thursday through Sunday of the convention. And then new this year is they have a VIP tour that they will be doing on, I believe, Sunday. Yeah, on Sunday. And those winners will also receive a gift bag full of exclusive goodies and merch. So each of those things is 100 points to sign up for. So if you want to do that, don't forget. You have now and June 21st.
1 month left.
1 month.
Yeah.
So we do have a couple of reader questions to get to. Joku asked, do y'all think they're going to show Fantastic Four on Thursday like they did with the Deadpool movie? It releases the same weekend as SDCC, to which I say, well, Joku, we did write a movie from Comic-Con post a week ago. But James, why don't you take this one? What do you think?
What do I think? I think that Feige has said, we plan our schedule around San Diego Comic-Con. And if they're releasing a movie during San Diego Comic-Con, they're doing it on purpose.
Yeah, I think so too.
So I am heavily implying that, yes, they will be showing Fantastic Four at Comic-Con. Whether that happens or not is just purely up to logistics and whether they think they can handle it or not.
Yeah. I think that they went so big last year that, like, they know they have to bring it again. I mean, I feel like they have possibly, unfortunately for them, but they have now basically set a precedent for themselves of, like, you guys, people are expecting you to do this every year now. Hope you know that. And I think they absolutely do. Yeah. So I'm not too worried about that. David Norwood asked, can you pick up bags and lanyards on Wednesday if you don't have a preview night badge? So they will announce the badge pickup hours closer to, but let me pull up 2024's little chart. And we might even just be able to show it in here because we have those cool capabilities now. Maybe. There we go.
I believe in you, Carrie.
Thank you. Okay, so this is last year's. So it's possible that it might be a little bit different, but this is typically the way that it works. So if you do not have preview night on Wednesday, you cannot pick, like, let's say you have a Thursday badge, you cannot pick up on Wednesday, but you can pick up on Tuesday. So if you were in town earlier than that, you could pick up on Tuesday and get your bags and lanyards then. So that is the schedule typically, but again, that's 2024. So keep an eye out for 2025 schedule. And then finally, Alex asked, are you guys bringing back the uBlog trading cards this year? So we are not, because we did all the mules. There are no more mules to do trading cards for. However, we have something else that we will be giving away this year in partnership with Committed Comics that is collectible and that we think you guys are going to like possibly even more than the trading cards. So I think that's going to be fun.
And some of us keep forgetting to give them out. Keeps forgetting that he's got it in his bag. So,
yeah, that's true. I think, to be fair here, let me rephrase this. I think all of us probably still have plenty of trading cards that we will still be handing out. Because as Andy said, we still, like, we printed a lot. We still have some. But there will not be new ones printed. So when these eventually run out, like, that's done. And we are doing something else and something new this year you can get from us or from Committed Comics. Or maybe from Val. I think we might get Val some. So that should maybe give you a hint. Okay.
All right. So let's cover up a little bit of the housekeeping things. There is the San Diego Comic-Con 2025 contest hub on our site. The link is up there on the site, of course. And there is a contest currently running.
Yes, there actually is.
Besides the David Desmalkian one?
Well, actually, no, it's over. Winners announced May 18th, so I need to pull that down. But there was a contest a few days ago.
But then now there's the David Desmalkian one that we just.
Congratulations to
whoever. That's not really like a contest. That's an auction. That's if you pay money, you win. That's not,
there you go.
That's not.
Play.
It's a little different. All right, so let's go over some housekeeping items, which is that we are doing an attendee question of the week, which is different than attendee of the week. This allows us to feature more of you, and I'm just going to give a little PSA for Kara on my team, if she is watching. Please, pretty please, read the instructions, please, for Kara's sanity. So when we ask the question, all you have to do is don't reply to the thing, but send us an email with your name, your location, and a photo. And obviously, like, actually answer the question. But, like, send an email with those 4 things. And if you do that, you will be featured in a post that we post on Friday. If you just reply to the tweet or on Facebook, you will not. So please read the instructions. Yeah. All right. So next week, we will be joined by artist Alex Pardee, which we are very excited about, to discuss his years of exhibiting at the con, his Brightmares, and what it feels like to have James Gunn walk out on the Hall H stage wearing your shirt. Yeah, Andy?
I just wanted to remind people, speaking of following directions, don't forget that commissions are open as well. We have a growing list of artists with open commissions that you can find on our site. So go check those out, please, and order one from your favorite artist.
Perfect. We have a couple of real quick questions in the chat. Jedi Master Nico asked about the question of the week. Is it best to keep the response emails as brief as possible? You can be as long as you want. I mean, please don't send us, like 1,000 words, but like you can totally write like a paragraph or 2 if you want, like go for it. Or they can be 1 sentence. It is entirely up to you. And then I did also just want to mention that we are bringing the friendship bracelets back to Comic-Con. Thank you so much to everybody who joined me last year in making these. We're keeping the Swiftie tradition alive here. But we will have more meetups again this year. Dates to be posted probably not until like a week before Comic-Con. We'll for sure be doing those. And again, like just make some and you'll see people in line or in panels like trading them. I saw tons of people like not necessarily at our meetups trading them, even at parties. So that was really cool. So I'd love if you guys would do that again with me. And I think that's about it.
All right. Then that's going to wrap it up for today. Of course, we'll be back next Tuesday with Alex Pardee, and every week leading up to Comic-Con 2025. We'll have our special two-part breaking down the schedule a couple of weeks before the show after the schedule drops. I think that's it for the schedule for this year.
I think so too. Yeah. Crazy. You can sign up for our newsletter. I promise, guys, we will start sending those in June. Again, there's just not enough news right now, like send it. So, but we will in June.
So thank you all for joining us, for watching and tuning in. And Andy, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
You can find all of my Comic-Con coverage on Twitter and Instagram at SDCC Wacky Wags. And for those who might be of the 420 persuasion, I do cannabis coverage as well at SDCannablogger. Carrie, other than SD_comic_con, where can we find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Carrie Dixon, but let's be honest, in June and July, it's basically just the blog stuff. But for a little bit, I want my own socials. James, where can we find more of your work on the internet?
I am everywhere online at Dan Regal, or on Twitch and YouTube at The Dan Regal. I am on the Overexerted Lorcana podcast if you want to take a listen to some Lorcana chat. And thank you to Beth, our producer, for editing this show and all the other little things that get it into your ears. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Beth. We are on iTunes. If you'd like to subscribe, the links are up in the blog, or you can search for SDConCast. If you like what you've heard so far, please review us. We are also on Stitcher Radio and Spotify, and the links are in the show notes.
If you want to get a hold of us, you can send us an email at info@sdccblog.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/SDConblog, or tweet us at SD_comic_con. Thank you all for listening and watching, and everybody go giggle, 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 giggle.